The day was perfect. June 25, 2025. Natalie Carter stood on a cliff overlooking the Pacific, sunlight glinting off her wedding ring. Her new husband, Daniel Monroe, was everything she'd dreamed of. Handsome, successful, a self-made millionaire. Their life seemed like a fairy tale, a beautiful house, luxury cars, trips to exotic places. But fairy tales aren't real. They shared everything, except for one secret buried deep in the past. They made a promise to love and honor each other, forever. But some promises are built on sand, and the tide of truth was coming in. They had no idea they were standing at the edge of a cliff in more ways than one. The truth, when it came, would be a harder landing than they could ever have imagined. The perfect wedding was the perfect lie. And the real story was just beginning. Before Seattle and the millionaire husband, there was a small town in rural Oregon. This was Natalie Carter's world. Green fields, quiet streets, and a sky full of stars. She had a loving family, her parents and older brother Leo. Then, one sunny afternoon, everything changed. Leo vanished from the park. He was never found. The loss left a hole in their family that could never be filled. Natalie grew up in the shadow of her missing brother, carrying that ache with her. As soon as she could, she left for Seattle, searching for a new life. But some holes can never be filled, and some stories never really end. Seattle was Natalie's fresh start. The rain washed away her small-town past. She found a job at an art gallery, spent her nights sketching the city skyline. For the first time, she felt hope. She was anonymous, free. Then she met Daniel Monroe at a gallery opening. He was charming, confident, and impossibly handsome. A tech entrepreneur who claimed to have built his company from nothing. There was an instant connection, a spark that felt like destiny. Their romance was a blur of glamour, dinners atop the Space Needle, weekends in Paris, gifts and attention. Daniel seemed to understand her in a way no one else ever had. With him she felt seen, safe. The ache in her heart began to fade. He was perfect, almost too perfect. But Daniel was intensely private. He spoke little of his past, claimed no family, no childhood friends, no photos. His life, he said, started when he became an adult. Natalie accepted his story. She too had a past she preferred not to discuss. So they built their world on the future, not the past. Together they created a beautiful, glittering life. Natalie believed she had finally found her place in the world. Daniel was her missing piece. But some mysteries refused to stay buried. The past was waiting for both of them. And it was about to change everything. In a city of millions, two lost souls had found each other. But fate had other plans. The proposal came 6 months after they met, on a private yacht under a sky full of stars. Natalie said yes without hesitation. She was marrying the man who had healed her. They decided on a quick, small wedding. No family, just a handful of friends. Daniel insisted on privacy. No photos, no social media, no announcements. He said it was to protect their life from public scrutiny. Natalie agreed. Her own family was fractured by grief. A big wedding would only highlight the people who were missing. A small secret ceremony felt like a way to avoid pain, a fresh start just for them. They exchanged vows on a cliff with only the ocean and a few friends as witnesses. They became Mr. and Mrs. Monroe. They were happy, blissfully so. They believed they shared all their secrets. But the biggest secret was one they didn't even know existed. The privacy Daniel insisted on wasn't just about protecting their future. It was about hiding a past he didn't even know he had. Natalie thought she was escaping her own ghosts. Daniel thought he had none. Together they built a life on trust and love. But the foundation was already cracking. The truth was coming for them both, and when it arrived it would shatter everything. Their vows were real, but their story was built on secrets. Some secrets are too big to stay hidden. The past was about to catch up. And nothing would ever be the same. The perfect wedding was a perfect illusion. The real test was yet to come. Life as Mrs. Monroe was everything the fairy tale promised. Natalie set up an art studio, painted with new light and color. They traveled, hosted parties, lived the dream. For a few blissful months, the ghosts of the past were silent. Then an email arrived, a holiday discount from a DNA testing company. On a whim, Natalie bought 2 kits, one for her and one for Daniel. She thought it would be a fun way to explore their heritage together. Daniel was hesitant. His past was a blank slate, but Natalie persuaded him. They mailed the kits and forgot about them. Weeks later, the results arrived. Natalie's ancestry was as expected. Then she checked Daniel's. But it was the DNA relatives feature that caught her eye. She clicked, and saw Daniel Monroe at the top of her list. The site predicted close family, parent, child, or full sibling. Natalie stared at the screen, her heart pounding. It had to be a mistake, but the seed of doubt was planted. She tried to ignore it, but couldn't. The truth was waiting in their DNA, and it was about to explode their perfect world. The test that was meant to be fun had changed everything. Natalie couldn't let it go. The DNA test haunted her. She dug deeper, comparing results. The shared DNA was undeniable. Full siblings. She thought about Daniel's mysterious past. No photos, no records, no family. He'd always said he was an orphan, but there were no adoption papers, no proof. Natalie remembered her brother Leo, the boy who vanished. She pulled out an old photo, sandy hair, bright blue eyes. She looked at Daniel's wedding photo. Was there a resemblance? Then she remembered Daniel's scar above his left eyebrow. He'd said he got it as a child, falling from a tree. Her mother had told her the same story about Leo. The pieces clicked into place. It was no longer a possibility. It was a certainty. Her husband was her brother. Natalie's world collapsed. She confronted Daniel, showing him the evidence. At first, he was in disbelief, but as she spoke, something shifted. He had no memories before age 5 or 6. His first memory was of a new house, new people. He'd always assumed he was adopted but never had the papers. Together, they went to the authorities. DNA tests confirmed it. Daniel Monroe was Leo Carter, the boy who vanished. He had been kidnapped, raised under a new name, hidden in plain sight. The mystery was solved, but the nightmare was just beginning. Their marriage was a lie. Their love, real but impossible. The truth had destroyed everything. The past had finally caught up, and nothing would ever be the same. The confrontation shattered their world. Daniel, now Leo, was forced to face a stolen childhood and a lost identity. The authorities confirmed the truth. He was the missing boy from Oregon, kidnapped and hidden for decades. The story that emerged was tragic. A troubled woman had taken him, raised him for a few years, then abandoned him. He ended up in foster care, his true identity lost. The couple who adopted him never registered it properly. He became Daniel Monroe. He had been hidden in plain sight his entire life. The mystery was solved, but the cost was unimaginable. Their marriage was annulled. The love they shared became a source of pain and confusion. They withdrew from the world. Their private tragedy turned into a public spectacle. Daniel sought therapy, trying to process the trauma of his kidnapping and the loss of his identity. Natalie moved away, seeking anonymity and reconnecting with her parents. The family was whole but broken. The fairy tale was over. The story of Natalie and Daniel had ended. The story of Natalie and Leo was a painful new chapter. The truth did not set them free. It imprisoned them in a new kind of hell. Their marriage was a legal and biological impossibility. The love they felt was real, but now tainted by a horrifying reality. The beautiful home became a house of pain. The marriage was annulled, their lives forever changed. The emotional fallout was catastrophic. They could no longer look at each other the same way. The intimacy they shared became a source of deep trauma. The story leaked to the press, turning their private pain into a public spectacle. They sold the house and went their separate ways. Daniel, now Leo, retreated from public life, seeking therapy and trying to understand who he truly was. Natalie reconnected with her parents, but the family was both reunited and broken. She stopped painting, the colors were gone, the story of Natalie and Daniel was over. The story of Natalie and Leo was a painful, complicated new chapter. The fairy tale had ended with no happy ending in sight. What can we learn from a story so strange, so tragic it feels like fiction? It forces us to ask, who are we really? Are we the names we're given, or is our identity locked in our DNA? Daniel Monroe built a life from nothing, but one test revealed it was all built on a false foundation. The secret of Leo's kidnapping shaped countless lives in its silence. The past is never truly gone. It lives on in memories, in photographs, and in our DNA. The secrets we keep, and those kept from us, have a way of coming to the surface. Their love was real, but it was misplaced, a tragic misinterpretation of a familial bond. In the end, Natalie and Leo's story is a modern cautionary tale. It's about the search for connection, the desire to heal, and the power of truth. Family is more than love, it's a biological reality. Identity is fragile, easily shattered. As we close this chapter, we're left with haunting questions. Can they ever heal? Can a family broken in such a profound way ever be whole again? Some answers remain unknown, waiting in the code of our DNA.